And for this, I give you praise.
Every mountain brought me over. Every trial you see me through. Every blessing, hallelujah, for this I for every mountain
You've been my provider
brought me over.
so many times.
Every trial
So many
you see me through. For every blessing,
You give to me.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah. I give
every mountain
you have brought me over.
you brought me over.
Every trial.
Every
You
trial
see me
Stand as we sing together.
for the love we share, the life we made. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. You may be seated. Wow, look at the bonnets. all of you got that special material that you make the bonnet, and you have to have a certain level of consciousness to be able to see the bonnet, right? Wow, look at all of those hats. They're magnificent. Do you see them? Of course you do. Welcome. Happy Easter. Welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. What a fabulous morning. If you're visiting with us for the first time, we always go this big out every Sunday. Now, you picked a wonderful morning to be here with us, and there's so much activity that's taking place between services, so we're just going to get right at it. Please welcome our Executive Director, Mr. Bunny himself, David Aurelio.
Robert. Oh, good morning, everyone. How are you? Happy Easter, everybody. I wait all year. For puns like that. Anyway, yes, we have lots going on today. You're going to have an amazing day both here and elsewhere, so we're going to get you in and out so you can have some fun. So specifically, we are a center. Just to remind us all, we are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path, and we hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live the life you love. And so we are going to do that in so many ways today. You're going to knock your socks off. So first and foremost, the Easter bonnet contest, again, is at 11 o'clock. So there's lots of stuff going on. Afterwards, all coffee and fellowship is going to be outside. I'm not going to go through any of the announcements, much to your chagrin. I know you love them. However, all the tables of all the different groups are represented outside today. So when you go out and you get a little snack, all of the tables have snacks as well, each of the groups. So just walk around, introduce yourself, let them introduce you, or themselves to you, and then let you know all the things that are coming up in their different areas. And if you'd like to join those groups, we're always looking for more volunteers. So please enjoy that. And then we'll do the bonnet contest right at 11 because you'll all be outside anyway. So a special thank you. Doesn't the grounds look amazing and beautiful? So I want to say thank you to two special people. Johnny Wood, who's now with his company called Beyond the Curb Landscaping. He's going to be our official landscaper. He's going to tithe his services to us. So we are thrilled and grateful for that as a member of our congregation, and he will, if you need good lawn care, that's your man. And also John Howard and his design group. They always do the flowers at the front entrance for every season, and they did an amazing job again. So thank you to Johnny and to John. So that we did. Quick reminder, Michael Beckwith tickets. Again, Michael Beckwith, Atlanta Unity is sponsoring Michael Beckwith, and his wife, Ricky Myers Beckwith, are going to be here April 24th and 25th for a concert and talk on Friday night, the 24th, and then the 25th, it's going to be an all-day health fair at Atlanta Unity. So they have offered to, if we sell tickets, we get a percentage of that money back. So if you are interested in going, today is the last day to buy your tickets through us that we get a percentage back. I don't want to say kickback because it's terrible, but but basically they give a percentage back to us. So if you want to do that, please do so today because otherwise we have to return all the tickets that we haven't sold to them tomorrow. So meditation, 10:50 to 11:10, that'll still happen between the services, and we'll again get you in time so you can see the bonnet contest. Cell phones off if you could, because we've got these beautiful singers are going to be here today. Latanya, love when you're here, can't love it. So we don't want to interrupt any of that service as we're going forward, so cell phones off if you could. And are there any new folks joining us for the very first time today? If you could raise your hands. If you could stand on up, we'd love to welcome you officially. Thank you for joining us. What you're receiving is a CD case that you can redeem at our welcome and visitors table. It's one of Reverend Dr. David Ault's talks especially selected for you. Thank you for joining us on a great day. We have new member orientation next Sunday on the 12th. If you'd love to join us, we'd love to see you then too. Have an amazing, amazing day and have a great one.
All right, I'm going to ask you to stand with your programs. On the inside is found our Declaration of Principle. I invite you to read this with me together. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Please remain standing. Our song this month is on the handout inside. Turn to those around you and say good morning and welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. This is our time when we do our affirmative prayer, and we have a special treat for you today. We are doing our affirmative prayer in multi-languages. As I reached out and asked the various people for volunteers, the languages that I got were English, imagine, sign language, so Spanish, Portuguese, French, Hebrew, and German. So our affirmative prayer today will be in all of these languages. So I'd like to invite up the world-renowned English-speaking person, Carrie Patton. Along with Mariella Anderson, who is our sign language interpreter. Liz Paloma, who will be doing Spanish. And then we have Angelina Zanatini doing Portuguese. And for French, Canon Rotz. Hebrew will be read by Cynthia Schwartzberg. And German by Ian Folker. So, will you two share this one? And then you have this one. Everybody ready? Yes. All right.
This is entitled, Roll Away the Stone. My soul cries out, roll away the stone, roll away the stone. Rise up, awaken, do not go back to the sleep of your fallibility.
Levez-vous, éveillez-vous, ne retournez pas au sommeil de votre fallibilité. Kum hitor al tachzazor leknat hatayot shelacha. Levántate y despierta, no regreses al sueño de tu falibilidad.
Erhebe dich, wach auf, schlaf nicht wieder ein in den Schlaf deiner Fehlbarkeit.
Levanta, acorda, não volte a adormecer na sua falibilidade.
Roll away the barriers that block you from living the life you were born to live.
Écartez les obstacles qui vous empêchent de vivre la vie pour laquelle vous êtes né.
Gagel et hamach hosamim shechosamim otecha milikiot et hakayim shel nota lekiot. Rueda hacia afuera las barreras que te bloquean de vivir la vida para la cual tú naciste.
O roll die Hindernisse weg, die dich davon abhalten, das Leben zu leben, zu welchem du geboren bist.
Rola as barreiras que te bloqueiam de viver a vida que você nasceu para viver.
The
life you were born to live.
A life born from wholeness, a life birthed from the energies that created worlds, a life destined for a unique and magnificent purpose, which your soul longs to experience.
Une vie destinée à un objectif unique et magnifique que votre âme aspire à ressentir.
Hahim hamayo adim lekmakara yikudut mere feret shenekha shalma shelecha mikiyokeke lachvot. Una vida destinada a un único y magnífico propósito, la cual tu alma añora por experimentar.
Ein Leben, das für einen einzigartigen und großartigen Zweck bestimmt ist, welches deine Seele zu erleben verlangt.
Uma vida destinada a ser única e com propósito magnífico que a sua alma anseia experienciar.
It
It
cries out, roll away the stone,
roll away the stone.
Remove yourself from the heaviness of illusion with its deceit and costumes of limitation.
Retirez-vous de l'abattement d'illusion ainsi que sa tromperie et son prétexte de limite.
Haser mecha et kovet hasela al hanatov ve takshi popozat mikbal lakvotov. Remuévete del peso de la ilusión con sus engaños y costumbres de limitaciones.
Entferne dich von den Bürden der Illusion mit ihrer Lüge, die verkleidet ist als Begrenztheit.
Retire-se do peso da ilusão com suas decepções e costumes limitados.
Remove yourself from fearful voices of mobs and men who teach and speak of competition and despair.
Retirez-vous des voix de la foule ainsi que des hommes qui ne parlent que de la compétition et du désespoir.
Haser mitmecha et kolat habhaka shel hamamin vehavezrim shelimdu vemedaberem al takharat vehiyush. Remuévete de la multitud de voces temerosas y de hombres que enseñan y hablan competencia y desesperación.
Entferne dich von den ängstlichen Stimmen von Massen und Menschen, die lehren und von Konkurrenz und Verzweiflung sprechen.
Retire-se das multidões amedrontadas que falam e ensinam apenas competição e desespero.
Roll away the stone, roll away the stone.
Écartez le rocher, écartez le rocher.
Gagel mecha et hasela, gagel mecha et hasela. Rueda la piedra, rueda la piedra.
Roll den Stein hinweg, roll den Stein hinweg.
Rola a rocha, rola a rocha.
Roll away the stone.
Step into the light of truth, the light that can never diminish, the light that radiates its healing solutions onto all the world's illusions.
Entrez dans la lumière de vérité, la lumière qui ne pourra jamais affaiblir, la lumière qui rayonne ses solutions revigorantes sur toutes les illusions du monde.
Kehanas le'or ha'emet ha'or shelo yachal lechbat le'am ha'or shemachrin et peronat ha'puya shelo al kol hashelek lot ha'alam.
Entra en la luz de la verdad, la luz que nunca puede ser opacada, la luz que radia sus soluciones, que curan las ilusiones de este mundo.
Schreite in das Licht der Wahrheit, das Licht, das niemals verstimmen kann, das Licht, das seine heilende Lösung auf alle Illusionen der Welt strahlt.
Entre na luz da verdade, a luz que nunca diminui, a luz que irradia soluções que curam todas as ilusões do mundo.
That light is here now. That light is you.
Cette lumière-là, c'est vous.
Ha'or hazeh hu ata.
La luz eres tú.
Dieses Licht, das bist du.
Esta luz é você.
I want to see it. I long to see it. Your soul longs to be it. Be it. Be it now.
Je veux le voir. J'ai très envie de le voir. Votre âme a envie de l'être. Devenez-la. Devenez-la actuellement.
Ani rotz leer ot ato, ani mishtachkek leer auto, lishmacha mishtokeke, lihiyot hu, hihi, yuhu, hihihu, ashhav.
Yo la quiero ver, yo añoro por verla, tu alma añora por serla, sé esa luz ahora.
Ich will es sehen, ich verlange danach, es zu sehen. Sei es jetzt.
Eu quero ver, eu anseio por ver. A sua alma anseia por isto. Seja isto agora.
It is possible to roll away the stone. So roll away the stone.
Écartez le rocher.
Gagel micha et hazela.
Rueda la piedra.
Roll den Stein hinweg.
Rola a rocha.
Roll away
the stone.
And,
And
so,
so
it
it
is.
is.
And I invite you just to close your eyes for a brief moment to take that message in for you personally. What does it mean to roll away the stone? As we sing our song at the end of each prayer.
There is a light that shines for you in your heart, so your dreams can be seen with clarity. Let the universe hear your song. And there is a voice inside of you, loud and clear, and it tells you what you need to hear. So keep on walking, keep looking, keep on looking toward the light. You will always hear the voice of command. Keep on dreaming every moment, keep on moving through your life. Don't let fear drive out your passion. There is a voice inside of you, and I just lost where I was supposed to be. But I'll keep singing till I find my place. Yeah, it's a journey you won't regret. Oh, stepping outside your comfort will make you see your oneness with the universe. Oh, keep looking. You will always hear the voice of command. Oh, keep on dreaming, keep moving through your life. There is a light that shines for you. In this life we are here to express our love for one another. Spirit calls you to use your gifts as inspiration for everyone. Be the light that you wish to see in everything around you. When you hear that calling, you will know. I stand in spirit. I am free to claim my greatness. Now there is a light that shines for you, always showing the way to love. Open your eyes and keep on walking, keep on dreaming, keep on dreaming. There is a light that shines for you. There is a light so bright. There is a light that shines for you. There is a light so bright. There is a light that shines for you. For you. There's a light that shines for you.
Keep on walking, keep on singing. All right? I love that. I love that. Tanya, we love it when you are here. Oh my God, it's just so wonderful to have you. Thank you so much. What a pro. Thank you, choir. You look gorgeous and virginal. The band, not so much. Oh, happy Easter, everyone. It strikes me funny that last week I got a little evangelical in my talk, and as I stood outside, people goes, "Wow, that's the best talk you've ever given." So from now on, I will be evangelical. No. It'll happen when it happens. I came across a very often repeated verse from the book of Luke. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but it says, "From those to whom much has been given, much is expected." From those to whom much has been given, much is expected. And every time that I have ever seen that particular line from the Gospels, it was always equated to material gain. For those of us who have been fortunate enough in this world to have acquired things, have acquired status, have acquired wealth, there is an expectation and an obligation to be able to distribute that amongst those around us. From those to whom much has been given, much is expected. And yet, this week, as I looked at this, it was brought to my attention because I was reading a book by Warren Buffett's son, and he said that was the family motto, that they often talked about this fact that there was an expectation upon this family to be able to do good in the world. But when I read it from an entirely different context. From those to whom much has been given. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that the greatest gift, something given to us as human beings, is the gift of thought, the gift of mind, consciousness. The greatest gift that has ever been given to anything that has life is consciousness. Because the gift of consciousness then affords us the ability to do what? To choose. So the greatest gift that any of us, that far surpasses material gain, is the gift of mind, or the gift of consciousness and the ability to choose. And when I went back and I looked at that particular passage and I read it from that context, now look what it says. From those to whom much has been given, the gift of choice, much is expected. The first interpretation lends itself to perhaps a small percentage of people. The second interpretation lends itself to what? Everyone. Everyone. From those to whom much has been given, the greatest gift that could have ever been bestowed on any human being, the power of choice, is given much expectation. And so how does that play out for you and I? With this gift and this expectation, you and I then set forth on a journey of our own making, a history of our own development, a patterning of life that is self-imposed by that gift. So that as we walk into this human existence and as we look at sickness, our expectation is to do what? To see and to reveal wholeness by our consciousness. When we walk into the appearance of poverty or lack and limitation, we are expected to be able to begin to uncover that which is abundance and prosperity, an overflowing, a wellspring that never runs dry for each and every individual, and to be able to participate and teach that by not only the way in which we live, but by the way in which we relate to others. From those to whom much has been given, when we see the paralysis of fear and the way that this fear plays itself out in our patterns from conscious and unconscious choices, what we are expected to do is to be able to dissolve those fears and to infuse that particular situation or that old belief with an idea of love. And so on this day that we call Easter, which is celebrated amongst the Christian tradition around the world, we look at someone who came to be the great teacher, the great example. Jesus the Christ, meaning the embodiment of Christ consciousness. Someone who took this gift and lived up to the ultimate of expectation. What we sometimes refer that to is the macrocosm. When we talk about universe, when we talk about spirit and God, we refer to that as the macrocosm, the all in the all. And that you and I become the microcosm. We are a part of that all. And that which is expected of and afforded to the macrocosm is also expected and afforded to what? The microcosm, you and I. So when we look at the symbology of today, the macrocosm and the way in which it played out, what we saw and what we were given in terms of an eternal lesson was the fact that life in and of itself is eternal. that there is no such thing as death. Death, by definition, is actually a human invention. That there is an eternality to all of life. There is this perpetual word called and. If you describe your life and every facet of that life and your story, what you could do at the end of your telling of that story is put the word and. Because there is this perpetuity to it. There is this perpetual motion that constantly takes you to a redefinement by the gift that you have been given. And you and I are expected to do that. So imagine if in this story, the stone was rolled away and there he still was. That great example would be lost. But that's not what happened. And as that story tells us and reveals to us the power of eternality and the power of choice, then you and I are tasked to do one particular thing, and it is this: complete your healing. Think about those three words. Complete your healing. Any of you ever have problems completing things? You ever start something and then you don't finish it? Well, I want to take you to the ultimate completion, and that is to complete your healing. And by that, what I am referring to is when you roll the stone away of your limitations and your lack, don't stay and hang out in the tomb. You have an obligation and expectation to begin to use the word and to walk into that history of your own creation and your own making. To not complete something in the framework of thought or our mental awareness means what? Simply that whatever it is that you and I do not complete, very, very judiciously comes back around for us to repeat it again, and to repeat it again, and to repeat it again. And it doesn't matter where you move. It doesn't matter how many divorces you get, and how many times that you remarry. The same thing continues to wrap itself around into our experience until we complete our healing. So Easter is a great story that reminds us to complete our healing. I witnessed this week a meeting with an elder person who had worked very hard for something over these last 3 or 4 years in order to gain a position of leadership. And then once that position was complete and he had this thing, this gift, what he didn't anticipate was the fact that the gift had requirements to it. See, all along he had been invested in the process, and then once the process to get this leadership role was completed, then he realized that there was an obligation or a duty that came with this. And he had some social anxiety. And in his social anxiety, he would let this anxiety get the better of him and get into the way of this leadership. And as he looked upon a schedule which showed that he was going to have to be in leadership again, and the first time it didn't go so well because of the social anxiety. And when the pattern came back up for him in the schedule to do this thing again, he decided that the best thing to do would be to quit, so that this social anxiety would not have to be revisited. And I thought, wow, okay. But we didn't arrive at that in the beginning. It started out with something like, I think I'm going to move. Where are you going to move to? I might go back east. I have some grandchildren back east, and one is a very talented basketball player, and I think I want to go and I want to watch him play basketball. And I said, oh, really? When do you think you're going to do that? I don't know. Well, when is basketball season? I'm not really sure. I said, it sounded like to me you're not really invested in this move back east. Not too much. And then as we continued to talk, he told me a little bit about his life story, and he said, when I was a young man, I had drug addiction very, very badly. And he said, in fact, in my 20s, I almost overdosed from heroin 5 times. And yet each time, I regained consciousness and got my life back. But in that particular mindset, And in that particular level of consciousness, he was never really able to keep a job. And in conversation, he goes, yeah, you know what? My mom used to look at me and say, you can't complete anything. You can't complete anything. And I said, wow, where do you think your mom's voice is right now? And what I began to see in this elder man was the voice of his mother telling him that he did not have the capability of completing anything. And so through the brilliance of our choosing, the gift of free will, we can concoct all kinds of things, can't we? Social anxiety, illnesses, lack and limitation, to support an old idea that tells us that we are incapable. But for those to whom much has been given, you see, what has been given you and I is insight. What has been given you and I is truth, the truth of your being, the sacredness and the holiness of who and what you are. And to those who have been given that, it is our expectation and our obligation to do what with it? To complete our healing. You see, in the original context and in the story of Christ's resurrection, it seems as though it's categorized as a one-time event. But for you and I to complete our healing means what? That in every single crucifixion, and oh, how many did you have already today? In every single crucifixion of illusion that crosses our path, in those moments, to those whom much has been given, the awareness of the crucifixion, what? Much is expected. For you and I to not reside then in the energy of that lack or limitation, or that poverty, or that disease, or that voice of your mother, but to rise above that and to experience your resurrection. That is the expectation of who and what we are. And so it says that life is what you make it. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Life, this thing that you and I are experiencing, is what you and I make it. Not what someone else dictates, but what you and I, through the gift and the expectation of the gift and the way in which we use it. Life, the full-blown spectrum of the ups and the downs, of the crucifixions and the resurrections, requires us to complete our healing on a daily basis. Why? So that we do not walk around with shackles of illusion, but that we begin to embody the essence and the truth of who and what we are. Your life is what you make it. Your present life is the result. Your present life, right now in this moment, go, oh, my present life is the result of all of the choices that you and I have made. The way in which you and I have used this gift up until this moment. You and I are the only one responsible for where we are right now, for how our life looks, for how we are being treated by those around us, and for the level of happiness or unhappiness which is present in our lives. You and you alone. Me and I alone. If you want to change the quality of your life, if you want to change the quality of the relationships that you and I have, then you and I must begin to take responsibility for everything. Yes, everything. I often wonder what happened in that tomb in those 3 days. If he sat and went, you know what? I'm going to get back at them guys. Wasn't anything of that. It was, I imagine it to be celebratory. You see, there is such a thing called tomb time. Tomb time is the in-between moment when you have the crucifixion and then you have the clarity of the resurrection. And in the tomb time is when you and I do our mental processes and where we decide which end of that spectrum we're going to gravitate back to. Am I going to go back to the crucifixion and then allow that to be my story? And allow that to be the voice of whomever that tells me that I am not capable? Or am I going to look at that and go, thank you? Because in the gift of that, what I have been given is a gift, and it is complete your healing. You see, when you complete your healing in the tomb time, you gravitate towards the choice of your personal resurrection in any given day. And oh my goodness, wow, the life then that you make. And that isn't just something that is nice and pretty and holy and sacred. What did the scripture say? It is what is expected of you and I. So I look at this day of remembrance and this day of celebrating life as a day of expectation. A day where you and I stand before the mirror and we look and we go, all right, am I living up to my expectation? And if not, how have I been spending my tomb time? One of the greatest minds in New Thought history, he was very, very prevalent around the 1950s. His name was Neville Goddard. I love his work. And he said, always remember that the I am meaning your resurrection name. The I am is your resurrection name, right? Always remember that the I am, and whatever word that you put after that, I am wealthy, poor, healthy, sick, free, confined, were first of all impressions or conditions felt before they ever became visible expressions. Your world is your consciousness objectified. Waste no time trying to change the outside. Waste no trying to convince mom that you can keep a job. Waste no time trying to convince others that their opinion of you is wrong. Rather, go about and understand that the change must come from where? Inside. Waste no time trying to change the outside. Change the within or the impression, and the without or expression will take care of itself. When the truth of this statement dawns upon you, you will know that you have found the lost word or the key to every door. Your name, I am, your consciousness, is the magical lost word which was made flesh in the likeliness of that which you are conscious of being. And so even when this appears hard at first, we've all been accustomed to wallowing in our crucifixions, haven't we? We have a whole little book of crucifixion friends. And in fact, what we do to support one another is we keep nailing each other's hands together in the idea that you can't do something. That's what that friend does who supports you in your limitation. That's what that person does who holds you back and doesn't see you for the resurrection of who and what you are, and for the expectation of who you are, and whose responsibility then is it with regards to your social construct and those you hang out with? It's yours. It says, for those to whom much has been given, much is expected. It is expected of you and I to begin to surround ourselves with those individuals who see nothing but the resurrection of you, who honor you. And again, to the degree that we do that, is the degree in which we begin to gravitate that more and more and more. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, he said, today then, let us prepare to be whole. He said this on an Easter Sunday in 1956. He said, let us prepare to be whole. What does it mean to prepare to be whole? If I'm in my tomb time, if I'm looking at my life, my preparation means I can either go this way to the stagnation and the limitation, or I can prepare myself for the history and the mystery of my own making. He said, prepare to be whole, to be happy, and to be free, to sing the song of life and not the dirge of a funeral march. It's not a problem with our choir. And to all of those beloved friends who have gone, we know that there are bodies celestial and bodies terrestrial. Terrestrial. Not extraterrestrial, but terrestrial. There are bodies celestial and there are bodies terrestrial, meaning of this earth. And he also said that in that celestial body and in that terrestrial body is also the inhabitant of you and I. And one of our fun jobs is to lose more and more the association with the terrestrial body or the earthbound limitation, and to claim more and more in our resurrection the celestial nature of who and what we are. He said, because without that mental check, then the body that you see is sown in weakness, but it has the capacity to be raised in power. We are sown in a natural body, but we are raised in a spiritual body. For there is both a natural and a spiritual body. And so it has been written that the first man of this earth, the second the Lord from heaven, and as we have all borne the image of this earth, so shall we also bear the image of heaven. And let us think also then of those who have left that way, not dead, but risen, resurrected, into the larger life, the greater hope, the more divine glory. They have but gone a little nearer to the maker of all music, to the master of all singing. And though we may be laid still with some portion of this physical body, we may lay this physical body on the altar of our faith. And we know that our spiritual body is resurrected not when we take our last breath, but is resurrected in the moment that we choose the resurrection. So choose your resurrection. When? Today, right now. And enjoy, walk in the kingdom of God, and waft back to us from a kiss from the kingdom of heaven. From those to whom much has been given, much has been expected. So I want to remind you just how much you've been given. Look at your hands. Go ahead, look at your hands. Hands that work and craft and feed and mold. I need to put a little lotion on mine. Look at your feet in your Easter shoes. The ability to travel wherever it is that you choose to go. Your limbs that move, your elbows, your knees. This is the gift that has been given you. A body that is celestial, that is wanting to be uncovered, and that is expected of you and I to do so in our brilliance and our reverence. And so it is. Thank you. I would love to ask one of our board of trustees to come up and do our grateful giving today. Is Lori back there? Lori, would you come and do us the honors? As Lori makes her way, I invite you to take your programs. Inside you will find the affirmation for grateful giving.
Wow, thank you, David. Thank you, choir. Thank you, staff. Thank you, everyone, for just a beautiful, beautiful Sunday and beautiful Easter message. And David, thank you most of all for reminding all of us to choose ourselves and choose our highest and best self. So thank you for that. And I think there's no better place to or feeling to choose ourselves than to come from a place of gratitude. Gratitude for all we have, all the love that exists in our life, all the prosperity, all the joy, all the friendships, all the purpose that we have. So when we stay in a state of gratitude, I think we can continually choose our highest and best self. So with that, would you join me in saying our affirmation for grateful giving? I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Welcome back to Sound of Light Choir. Yes. Thank you so much, and thank you, Tanya Shields, for singing with us, and our house band, Darren Ginn, on keyboards, and Fuji Fujimoto on bass, and Emra Kotan on drums.
I'm going to ask you to remain standing. I'm going to ask our practitioners to come forward. Again, turn to those around you and say Happy Easter to you. Will you please do us the privilege of staying and hanging around at our information fair outside? Look at these beautiful practitioners. Allow them to be able to do an affirmative prayer for you. And remember, live up to your obligation. God bless you as we sing our closing song.